continued work on these issues. Now, as many members will know, maternity care is an issue that is of great importance to me, and I know it's of great importance to my constituents, as demonstrated by the hundreds that signed the petition. I wholeheartedly support the call for a Maternity Commissioner, and as the chair of the APPG for Black Maternal Health, I'm sure that will surprise no one. This week is Black Maternal Health Awareness Week in the UK, so I want to speak about the continuing racial disparities in maternity care and why a commissioner would work to address this. Now, each Black Maternal Health Awareness Week, I usually start by addressing the statistics around Black maternal health, and they make for grim listening. When 5 times more the Secretariat of the APPG first founded, black women were 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth than white women. But now the most recent Embrace report shows that black women are 3 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. Now, whilst a lot of awareness has made an impact, unfortunately, this is not because necessarily less black women are dying, but because more of all women are experiencing this horrible situation. And black women are still twice as likely to experience stillbirth and baby death. And whilst these disparities remain unacceptable, I do want to recognise the work that is being done by NHS Trust to identify some of the shortcomings and address racial bias. But as members know, it's not just the death rate where racial disparities exist. Last year, 5 times more conducted their second Black Maternity Experiences report, a large-scale survey collecting the experiences of black women during their pregnancy and childbirth. And of the 1,000 respondents, 54% experienced challenges with healthcare professionals, 28% of women reported discrimination, mostly racial, 49% stated that their experience during labour and birth were not properly addressed. And I can't stress enough how deeply concerning it is that women are going through this intensely vulnerable experience when they raise concerns and they are being dismissed and ignored. 23% of black women did not receive the pain relief they requested, and just 1 in 5 women had been informed of how to make a complaint, with only 8% going on to pursue a formal process. The report has many more harrowing findings, and I would encourage members to read it. I do recognise that action is being taken to address the crisis overall in our maternity care, and I welcome the government's National Maternity and Neonatal Investigation led by Baroness Amos, which I was pleased to feed into with the APPG for Black Maternal Health. This is a much-needed investigation that I hope will provide some much-needed understanding as to why our maternity services are failing so many mothers and babies, as well as clear recommendations to improve the state of maternity care. But as you've already heard many times today, it cannot just be another report where we wring our hands and recommendations are produced that are simply ignored. In 2026 in this country, we cannot keep reeling off these statistics in debates like these. It makes no sense that a country like ours should be experiencing these issues, and so many women and their babies should be dying. Now, I wonder if the Minister would be able to inform us quite specifically about something which appeared in our Labour Party manifesto, and whether a clear target to end the racial disparities in maternity care is expected to be included in the recommendations coming from the forthcoming report. Was the investigation tasked with offering advice on an attainable target, or will the government be developing a target based on the report's findings and recommendations? During last year's Black Maternal Health Week debate, the responding minister insisted that the government were working towards setting an evidence-based target, but they were not forthcoming about when one would be announced, and I hope the minister will give some indication as to that. Now, the call for a Maternity Commissioner is about accountability. A dedicated Maternity Commissioner would, for the first time, create a single accountable authority with the mandate, resource and institutional weight to confront the systemic failures driving the Black maternal health crisis. They would have right now we're seeing a situation where the responsibility is completely diffuse, and I think a commissioner would change that. They could drive the implementation of the recommendations that have been sitting in reports for years and years. They could ensure that trusts are actually training staff to recognise and challenge racial bias in clinical settings. And they would have a mandate to bring together disaggregated data collection so that these disparities can't be buried in averages. This, as I said, is about accountability and setting clear direction and focus. And what I've realised over the years in terms of challenging these issues, particularly in terms of black maternal health, is that without a dedicated focus, black maternal health remains everyone's concern and nobody's priority. And I've often said that addressing the racial disparities in maternity care will improve the state of maternity care for all women and babies, and establishing a Maternity Commissioner makes this someone's job, not just to monitor the problem, but to actually put in work to fix it. We cannot continue failing women in this way. It absolutely has to be somebody's sole responsibility to fix this. Thank you.